Holly?
Yeah.
Do you have those 4
Oh, God!
What?
What was that?
I don't know.
What you just watched was a moment that changed my entire thinking when it came to the paranormal side of life. Hi there, my name is Dylan Garland, and today we're going to be talking about ghosts, specifically a voice that we captured on the television series Haunted, which airs on Eastlink community television here in Canada. There are quite a few things about ghosts that I don't quite buy into. There's a lot of theories and all that I'm like, you know what? It's probably this, it's probably that. There is one moment that we captured during the filming of season 1, which technically was episode 1 of the series, that made me really question what the hell was happening. And as I tell this story, I've decided to add a few ghost devices around me, and I'm starting to regret it as I'm filming this alone in my apartment in the middle of the night, super dark. As I say that, I heard something move. I have a few things set up, so maybe something will happen as I talk about my experience in the paranormal. The candles that you see behind me are actually ghost devices, whatever that means. The idea is that if anything gets close, they will turn off or on, and if that happens in this video, good. I'm already feeling very weird, so this is really good for my sleep schedule. Outside of that, it's a walkie-talkie right here, which has become honestly, at this point, a supporting actor in Haunted seasons 13 and 14. I've had a lot of moments where that will just go off randomly in ways that doesn't make sense. It'll go in really weird ways. So I set that up and that's on. And then finally, my newest addition to my life of really bad decisions, although I think he's fine. I'll take that as a yes. Wrinkles. I was at the Oddities and Curiosities exhibit or convention recently here in Halifax, which is incredible. If you're into weird shit, if you're into the macabre side of life, do not miss. Okay, that's just somebody outside opening their door. Not paranormal, debunked. I'm getting nervous. I don't know if you can tell. Wrinkles here was part of a exhibit there where I think somebody was running like an antique store and they were kind of bringing their weirder objects in to sell. This guy called to me, in a sense. I've never seen a stuffed animal that I'm like, I need to bring that home. This one, I don't know what it was, said, I need a home. Will you be that home? So I picked him up. He's got a burnt ear. I don't know if you can see that. He's got a burnt ear here. And I don't think he's haunted. And I lie when I say that. I think he's haunted. I think he's good. But we'll see if he does anything. So I've set up some things to make this a little bit spookier as I talk about ghosts. So let's actually jump into the actual ghost hunting here. So what you saw, a really long way to get here, what you saw was a moment from season 1 where one of our lead investigators, Holly Stevens, experienced what we call the Queens County Voice. Queens County Museum is in Liverpool, Nova Scotia, and it is an incredible museum filled with so many different things. One of the areas is a sort of playroom. And the story goes that there is a spirit there named Lucy. I don't know quite where that name came from. I can't remember if it was us or if that had come beforehand. But we had gotten, while we were investigating, the name Lucy. And it turns out we looked into it. There was indeed a Lucy who lived on the property. What happened next changed us. And it made me go into a really unhealthy era of staying up until 5 a.m. and looking through all the footage and audio, trying to figure out what the hell was happening. This one came out of nowhere, and it hit us like a tsunami. Here's the scene, and I know you've already seen this, but here's a little bit more detail on kind of what's going on here. So we film crazy hours. We're filming up until 2, 3, 4 a.m. Sometimes, quite frankly, a lot of times I've seen the sun set and rise on the same work schedule. We were taking a small little break. We weren't even technically filming at the time of this event. As you hear in the clip, Holly is talking to our sound person at the time, Chelsea, and they're talking about, I believe, batteries, if I remember correctly. All of a sudden, as Holly is walking into the archive room, we hear this loud noise.
Do you have those 4
Oh, God!
What?
Here's a little more about what happened in terms of my perspective on this. I was just outside of the archive room in the main kind of hall area, right where the entrance was at the Queens County Museum. I was unhooking a camera from my tripod because I had to take a battery out or charge something, like something to do with the camera. And I was bent down and I was unhooking it when I heard what I thought was a scream. Turns out it was actually just Holly inhaling, and that's what I heard. Right at that moment, I run inside with the camera. It's not even on a tripod or a shoulder mount or anything. I just press record. I run in. That's why it's a little bit shaky in the footage. And then we try and capture whatever was going on. And then it turns out our theory was, oh, it's just a walkie-talkie. Wrong. Here's how I know this. Actually, it's good that I brought up the walkie-talkie because this is related to what I'm about to say. We all have walkie-talkies on set when we work because sometimes we're getting footage elsewhere or somebody's kind of wandered off and we have to say, hey, come back here, we're going to film this, or just letting people know that, hey, we're filming, so try and be quiet. I had set my walkie-talkie on the display case next to me, and it was right here, this close to my head, when this went off. I did not hear a thing. Not a noise, not a blip, and definitely not the voice that we heard. There was a walkie-talkie on the table, but we were all set to the same frequency, and it wouldn't have made sense if only one had made the noise when we all had one on us. So the more we dug into this, the more we realized something's weird here. Something has happened, and we can't explain it. Thankfully, we had our CCTV cameras on, and that's how we captured that shot of Holly walking into the room. But we had also set up an audio recorder on the table in the room because there was a story about potentially a woman named Mrs. Gorham and her husband, Mr. Gorham, being resident spirits at the Queens County Museum, as well as the Astor Theater, which is right up the road, which we also investigated, which is also very creepy. We had set up an audio recorder because there were reports of movement and voices and basically people, like, when I say people, I mean ghosts, rummaging through the archives. You would hear the papers kind of rustle and stuff like that. So we wanted to capture everything we possibly could, even when we weren't filming with our main cameras. That audio is what you hear in the actual footage from this little audio recorder. And which you're about to see, because thankfully I just got super cold chills. That's always a good sign that something is here. Oh, I shouldn't do this in my own. I don't know why I do this in my own apartment. Anywho, moving on. I'm going to try and ignore that feeling. We, upon review of the audio recorder, we realized that we could hear a little bit in 3D space where the audio was coming from. And the audio was coming from near Miss... I don't know if you heard that. I don't know if that was anybody or if that was in the apartment. Anyways, moving on. I'm going to tell you, actually, before I move on, here's a theory. Ghosts don't answer questions. Any ghost hunter who goes out and says, are you in the room with us right now? And I'm as guilty as anybody for doing this. Is there a ghost in the room with us right now? Can you hear us? Can you feel us? Can you respond to us right now? I have a theory that just doesn't work. I think that they show up when they want to, and they're on their own time. So I'm going to keep talking because I have a funny feeling something paranormal is happening as I speak, and this may be great YouTube footage, TV footage. I'm uneasy. Anywho, the voice. So we realized that we could hear it almost in 3D space, and it sounded like the voice was actually coming from where Miss Gorham's painting was. And our belief at the time was that maybe we were dealing with Miss Gorham as like the resident ghost of Liverpool, quite frankly. But what we realized upon review, because I got obsessed with this audio to the point where I was back in our cottage that we were filming at or staying at, and I was reviewing the audio. I was putting it in reverse. I was slowing it down. I did nothing to it that would change it in terms of like what the actual audio is, because quite frankly, here's my take on ghost hunting. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Faking stuff, I think, is really boring, if I'm being honest with you. I would rather watch an hour of nothing happening at a place and hearing the people's theories on what's happening maybe elsewhere or just talking about ghosts in general than people faking and be like, did you hear that? What was that? threw something. It's boring. Knock it off. It's not fun to watch. But this thing felt real to me. So I took this audio and I looked at it every which way. And what I found out and what I realized was kind of like the snap moment for me was when I slowed it down, it sounded like it was saying a name. And as I get super cold chills on this side of me, I got to stop doing this. We're going to do this in the broad daylight next time. What I realized while reviewing the footage, oh my God, that was me that time. I will get through this, I promise. Don't worry. I hope you've got popcorn and a coffee or something because we're going to be here a while. What I realized while reviewing the audio was that if I slowed it down to a certain degree, I could kind of make out more of the voice, and it allowed me to kind of get under the noise that was happening because Holly inhales pretty quickly. But what we realized is it was Holly, not Holly talking, the name Holly being said. And you're about to see that in the clip that I'm going to play after this. Now, what I realized after that, and what kind of made me jump full tilt into ghost hunting and understanding what the paranormal was to an extent, I still don't know. Nobody knows, by the way. If anybody ever tells you that they know about paranormal and here's the definitive one-to-one be-all of end-all be-all of this, but they're lying. I'm sorry. Everybody has theories. I have theories, but nobody knows. That's what the fun of ghost hunting is. We're trying to figure it out, but none of us know what's going on. What I realized at the time was that context was king when it comes to ghost hunting. There was a story of Lucy. Oh, the cable of this moved and I freaked out. I am not doing this again. I probably will because I'm sure it's entertaining. What we found out was that there was a Lucy that lived on the property in the house that is directly next to, still on the same property, the Queens County Museum. And Lucy was somebody who had speech issues as a kid and among a myriad of other issues as a young kid. And unfortunately back then, because people are assholes, a lot of that type of thing was you were to be seen and not heard, which I think is such bullshit. It's kind of one of the things I love about ghost hunting is we get to uncover these stories and give the right people the space they deserve. Lucy was somebody who had a speech issue and speech impediment. And when we slowed it down, we realized that what we were hearing sounded like somebody trying to say Holly who had a speech issue. The entire night, as I get cold chills on my back and I just saw orb over there. Can we not do this tonight, please? What we realized is that it sounded like Holly with somebody with maybe a little bit of a speech issue. And Holly had been asking all night for the young girl who we named Lucy, who we found out was indeed probably Lucy, to say her name. And what did we get? Exactly that. So I'm going to let you listen to this and see what you think. Did you hear what I heard at the end when you start inhaling?
Play it again, Sam.
Okay, ready?
No. Yeah.
Try and listen past your own voice.
And my voice is the...
Yeah. You're the inhale.
Yeah.
Listen below it.
Yeah. Go.
So did you hear anything?
Yep. It's my name.
This became, to this day, one of the biggest moments for us as ghost investigators. And this was day 2, I believe, of our work on season 1. It opened up my world beyond belief to really considering that there may be something out there. But on top of that, it also really made me appreciate how context is some of the most important stuff that you can ever do or get in ghost hunting. We hear a lot of noises every day. We see a lot of things out of the corner of our eye every day. Not everything's paranormal. That's just the way it is. But it's hard to ignore when these types of things happen in context to the story that is going on. We did not know the story of Lucy to that degree. of details and everything. A lot of that we learned along our process of doing this episode. But to get something like that, and to also, I believe a year or two later, in the same building, get the sound of a young girl crying through one of our devices that reads through radio stations, which can't imagine a lot of radio stations are playing girl crying loudly at 11 p.m. Through that and other experiences we've had, we believe that maybe we connected with Lucy, and she was trying to say Holly's name because Holly asked her to. And I think that's pretty damn cool. So this moment for me, I wanted to share because it was such a pivotal moment. And we're also lucky enough that this footage is online, so you can actually see the full episode of this season, of this Queens County incident. I was going to say incident, but this Queens County moment that changed me drastically. And it made me believe a lot more than I did prior, just a day prior, for the other side of the paranormal. So if you want to see the full episode, you can. It is in the link below in the description or somewhere, wherever you're seeing this video. But feel free to take a look and watch the full episode, and keep an eye out, because as I record this, in not but 5 days, I'm hitting the road for Haunted Season 15. You believe that? Season 15 of this show. And we're going to be returning to a few places that we want to get answers to and going to brand new spaces, so it's going to be a blast. And I will be recording director's vlogs the entire way. I won't be talking about what we get, because that will be the TV show, and I don't want to spoil any of that. But I will be talking a little bit about theories and kind of the idea of ghost hunting, at least from my perspective. And hopefully you guys find that interesting. But I wanted to share today a little bit about Lucy and the ghost voice that we caught at the Queens County Museum in Liverpool, which is a spot that everybody should visit if you were in Liverpool, Nova Scotia. Thank you for watching. I'm glad that none of these candles went out, although it'd be cool if they went out right now. I'm not mad at that. Being completely honest, I'm a little freaked out right now because of the noises. But we will see you in the next video. And hopefully Wrinkles here isn't the new Annabelle. I don't think so, right? I'm very scared to review that audio later. If that thing says Holly, I'm out of here. Thank you for watching. And here is the clip, Holly's name being said at the Queens County Museum by what we believe was a friendly spirit named Lucy. Thank you, everybody. And as always, what is that behind you?
Holly,
Yeah.
do you have those 4 extra?
Oh, God!
What?
What was that?
I don't know. What? What? You gave me a hot flash. What?
Oh, my God. I'm pretty sure someone left their walkie on the table, and that is what just went off. Because I just heard somebody yell, and then I yelled.